Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. Today's video is another PSA return. We've got a express submission and a standard submission, or regular, whatever it's called, which I sent out at the same time a few weeks back. I expected to get the express submission back earlier than the regular, quite a lot earlier to be honest, but in the end they actually came back exactly the same time, like PSA shipped them in the same package. So we're going to go through all of the returns in one video. Starting with the express, this was a 4-card submission. All 4 really cool cards, and all of the cards in the Express sub were cracked from BGS 9s or basic 9.5s. So this Tempest, European print Ultimate Rare Tempest, was a BGS 9. I think it had a 10 on centering and then 9 on all the other subgrades. I didn't necessarily think this would get a gem. I thought this was more likely to get a PSA 9, but I decided to crack it and submit it with the others anyway, just to kind of get the grader used to looking at a European print Ultimate Rare. Because this was the first card in the sub, and then there were some more behind it. And they have different condition issues. They just kind of pop differently to a North American print card. So if the grade is going straight from looking at North American to European, I feel like sometimes it can slightly look weird to them, and they might think that they need to give it a lower grade because of how the back looks. So that was pretty much my thinking sending this Tempest. I expected a PSA 9. The grade we got was a Gem Mint 10. So this is absolutely insane. I'm not honestly sure if there are any other European print Tempests out there in PSA 10. There's quite a few like North American print 10s. It's not a very low pop card in general, but I've honestly never seen a European print one that I can recall. So yeah, amazing start to the submission. Pretty unexpected, but definitely awesome. Next card was the card I was most nervous about in the whole sub. This is a European print Cyber Dragon. Absolutely beautiful card. This was again a BGS 9. I think it had 9.5 centering and then 9 on the other subgrades. I've had it for a long time like that, and to be honest, this is the cleanest European Cyber Dragon I've personally ever seen. So I was always a little bit disappointed just having it as a BGS 9, and I finally decided to crack it, see how it would do at PSA. Centering is pretty solid on the card, tiny bit shifted top to bottom, but really not bad. The back of the card is beautiful. Really as clean as it gets for European print. Maybe a slight Ultimate Rare stamp, but you're never going to find one of these that doesn't have anything at all wrong with it. So, to be honest, my expectation on this was just a 9, because I always prefer to kind of aim low, and then if it comes back higher, then that's awesome. And the grade we got on this European print Cyber Dragon was a PSA Gem Mint 10. So this is even crazier than the Tempest. I think there's maybe 3 or 4 of these in the world, total population for this card in European print, but I haven't seen one of these graded since 2018, maybe 2019 at the latest. I haven't seen one of them sold since then either. It's just an insanely hard to find card, and it looks so much better than the North American print, so it's easy to understand as well why collectors chase after this one so much. So this, to be honest, is one of the most exciting PSA 10s I've ever graded to date. Really amazing card. Very, very happy to add that one to the collection. All right, next up is another European Ultimate Rare. Now this one was a BGS 9.5. It had, I think, 3 9.5s and a 9 on surface. The reason I cracked it, obviously 9.5 isn't a bad grade, but I really thought this card was pretty much pristine. When I originally subbed it to BGS, I was hoping for BGS 10 or something close to it. As it is, BGS just never grades European Ultimate Rares fairly in my experience. I think I've never even got a quad 9.5 on all of the ultis I've sent to them that are European print ever. So at this point, I honestly don't think I'm going to bother sending to them anymore, because, with European Ultimate Rares that is, because it seems just so much easier to get a PSA 10 than it is to get a BGS 9.5. So this is a really clean card, obviously. Pretty much nothing wrong with it at all. I would have been shocked if this didn't get a PSA 10, unlike with the last 2 cards, and that's what I got. I got a Gem Mint 10, so 3 for 3. Really awesome card again. Looks a lot better than the North American print. There is a few of these out there, even in European print. I want to say I've seen at least like 6 or 7 European print Gem Mint 10 Ancient Gear Golems, but even so, it's absolutely awesome. Incredible looking card, and very happy to add that one to the collection as well. And the last card for the Express sub is actually, to be honest, the lowest value card by quite a long way that I sent. It's just a Yugioh Legacy of Darkness First Edition. Again, this was a BGS 9.5. It had, I think a 9 on corners and then 3 9.5s. I thought it looked really clean. When I originally sent it to BGS, I was again hoping for a better 9.5 than that. So eventually I decided to crack it, send it to PSA, see what would happen, and we got a Gem Mint 10. So yeah, 4 cards, 4 Gem Mint 10s on the Express submission. Truly insane, especially considering how high-end the cards are as well. I'm absolutely ecstatic about how the Express sub went. So now we'll move on to the regular sub. I think we've got 12 cards to go through here. These are a little bit lower end, which is why I sent them regular for $100 rather than Express for $150. Starting out with a very cool one. This is a Wavy Unlimited Guy, the Fierce Knight. Slightly lower title as well, and not really low enough that I would say it adds value, but it definitely looks nice. I sent this card hoping for a 10. As far as I was aware, there were no 10s out there, and that's what we got. We got a Gem Mint 10. So 5 for 5 still, not a single 9 yet in this video. This is really clean, so again, it doesn't surprise me. But it's really cool to see that one come back at 10. In first edition, this is one of the hardest Ultras to find as a 10. In Unlimited, to be honest, pretty much none of the Ultras even exist as 10s, so you can't really talk about what's hard to find or not. But yeah, again, definitely not something that you see every day. And I sent one other Wavy Unlimited card, which was a Monster Reborn. This one's even better centered than the Gaia, and again, like really, really minty condition. I can't remember for sure because I've had these for a long time, but I think both of them came from the same seller originally a long time ago. I thought this would get a 10 as well, and unfortunately we just got a 9 on this. So the first 9 of the submission, can't be too mad considering how many 10s we've already hit. Still a very nice card and something that I may consider resubbing one day because I don't really see any reason why it wouldn't be a 10. Centering is good, condition is really clean. But to be honest, even as a 9, that's a pretty cool piece to display. Just really not something you see around in that kind of condition very often. All right, next up. So this card is technically mine, but I subbed this on behalf of a friend. Like I was already going to sell the card to him. He said he'd rather have it in a PSA slab, so I agreed to crack it from the BGS slab it was in and send it to PSA first before selling it to him. It's a glossy Unlimited SDK Blue Eyes. Really nice condition on the whole. You can see that beautiful surface gloss that it has. It was a BGS 9 with an 8.5 on surface previously. The reason for the 8.5 surface is that on the whole it's really, really clean, but it has some like white print dots. They're pretty unusual, but they're definitely below the surface, so it's something from the factory down at the bottom. So I knew this was either going to get PSA 8 or PSA 9. That was pretty much the range of like grades it could get. And it didn't make too much difference to me because at the end of the day I was going to be selling it to my buddy anyway. But we got a PSA 8 on this. So yeah, second card in a row that's not a 10. What is going on? But still, honestly, a very cool card. I have a really clean BGS 9 of this already, so that's why I'm letting go of it. But yeah, Glossy Unlimited, super underrated, very hard to find cards, beautiful looking. Yeah, just what's not to love about a card like that. And next up, we have another Glossy Unlimited card. Now, this has been to PSA before. If you guys have watched, I think it was a Super Express submission sometime last year after they shut down the other services. I sent this Glossy Unlimited Dark Magician Super Express because I thought it would get a 10. And it just got a 9 that time, and they labeled it as an SDY Dark Magician, which I thought was pretty funny. So I kept it like that for a while, but after they opened up regular, which is only $100 a card, I thought, hey, might as well resub it, see what happens. So this is that same Dark Magician that got a 9 previously. This time, we got the Gem Mint 10. So this is incredible. This is definitely a pop 1 for like a Glossy Unlimited Dark Magician. Again, you can see that like high gloss finish that it has. To be honest, this might be the only ultra rare from LOB in general graded as a 10 in Glossy Unlimited. I've never personally seen another one. It's just an insanely rare print, and it even has like centering issues as well and stuff like that. So overall, finding a card that is good enough to gem is next to impossible. So yeah, really cool collection piece. Difficult to put a value on something like this, to be honest. I guess it just comes down to what someone's willing to pay, but at the end of the day, I have no plans to sell it anyways. So next up is a Karibo from MRD. Kind of faded. I wouldn't say it's super faded, but you can probably see the color is a bit off compared to a regular effect monster. And now this one was not quite as clean as some of the other cards in the sub. I even thought about selling it raw, but I thought it would be a pretty safe 9 still, so that's why I sent it into PSA. Wasn't expecting a 10, I was expecting a 9 on this. And the grade we got was a near mint to mint 8. So this was a bit disappointing, especially because it's an 8. Honestly, I probably would have been better off just selling it raw. But that's how it goes sometimes, you can't win on every single card you sub. I'm not sure why this got the 8. It might be because of the fade, since I didn't send any other faded cards in this submission, so maybe that threw the grader off. I'm really not sure. But either way, it's still alright. It'll probably be for sale if anyone's interested. Just hit me up on Instagram. And yeah, I mean, like I said, you can't hit a winner on every single card that you get back in a submission. So considering some of the 10s we've already hit, I was completely fine with this. Alright, next up is another BGS crack. So this was a BGS 9. I think it had 9s on centering and surface, and then 9 5s on the others. Which, to be honest, I thought was not necessarily unfair, but just looking at the card overall, it did look pretty nice to me, so I decided to crack it, send it to PSA, see if we could get that 10. You can see, like, condition overall is pretty great on this. Not really anything going on. Edges and corners are really clean. Centering is a little bit borderline, I guess. Like, he got a 9 on centering from BGS, and that's not necessarily unfair, but I still thought the centering was good enough to get a PSA 10 for most graders. And that's what we got. We got a Gem Mint 10. So back on the PSA 10 streak. Very cool card to have graded as a 10. It's not one of my favorite old school secrets. I know a lot of people really love Thousand Dragon. For me, I think it's nostalgic. It has pretty cool art as well. So I do like it, but there's other secrets that I find both more aesthetically appealing and more nostalgic for me. But yeah, still an awesome card at the end of the day. One card from Magic Ruler next. This is a Snatch Steal. Again, this was a pretty clean copy. I think this came from, I don't know if you guys saw my huge collection mail day I posted a few months back. This was in there. And I didn't send it express when I sent out the first submission from that collection, just because I thought a 9 is probably barely worth the grading fee at that point. But it was a really clean card. It has maybe one tiny little factory imperfection on the surface somewhere at the bottom, but definitely still a pack fresh card. So I thought it could get either a strong 9 or a 10. And we got another Gem Mint 10, so pretty cool. Definitely a nice card from MRL. I love Magic Ruler in general. All of the Magic cards from the set are awesome. Tunes as well, stuff like that. It's probably the most nostalgic old school set for me. So it's always cool to grade a Gem Mint Ultra Rare, even on something like Snatch Steal, which isn't necessarily one of the highest end cards in the set. Alright, and next up we have one card from Labyrinth and Nightmare. This is actually a bit out of order. I think the previous card should have come first, but anyway, it doesn't matter. This is a Destiny board. This was again a BGS 9. Now I thought this should have been a 9-5 easily. It's got great centering, great edges and corners. It has maybe like 1 or 2 tiny print dots on the back, but the back is still really clean overall. So I was surprised this didn't get a BGS 9-5 when I first submitted it. And I cracked it, sent it to PSA hoping for a 10. And we actually just got a mint 9 again. So pretty unfortunate to get 9s twice in a row. I'll probably just keep it as it is at this point. I do think it has a great chance for a 10. Like, centering is absolutely great for Labyrinth of Nightmare. And the card looks really clean, so I'm not sure why it got a 9. But it's okay at the end of the day. It's not one of the most important cards to me in this submission, so I'm still fine with a 9. Very cool old school Ultra. Even if it would have been cooler if they'd kept the death from the OCG versions rather than making it final. Alright, next up we have one card from Pharaoh's Servant. This is a Fiend Mega Cyber. This was also from that big collection that I bought a few months back. I subbed the 4 biggest cards from Pharaoh's Servant. Those all got Gem Mint 10s in that previous Express submission that I posted. This one looked pretty good to me as well. Well centered. Maybe not quite as clean overall as some of the other cards from the set, but still pretty solid, honestly. It has like a couple of tiny bits of whitening, but I thought it would be a solid 9, if not a 10 from a decent grader. And the grade we got on this card was actually a near mint 7. So I feel like this nearly always happens when you send more than a few cards to PSA. You'll get at least one of those just random 7s thrown in there, and you're not really sure why it's got that grade. This definitely doesn't look like a 7 to me. Like, it's a really nice card. I'm not sure what caused that grade. I'll look it over in detail afterwards. I'm not sure if PSA maybe added something to the card that wasn't there before. But yeah, I would probably be pretty mad about this if I hadn't sent so many cards and got so many gems. But as it is, similar to the Karibo, I mean, it kind of sucks getting a 7 on a mint card, but I can take it when I get so many 10s at the same time. Next up, from Magician's Force, we have a Luster Dragon. Pretty difficult card to grade, as with most of Magician's Force, mostly because of centering. This one definitely was OC on the back, but PSA, to be honest, doesn't tend to care that much about back centering. So I did think that we had a decent shot for the 10, because the card is clean and the front centering is definitely within the guidelines. And that's what we got. So pretty awesome card. I probably prefer the Luster Dragon from Legacy of Darkness in terms of the artwork, but even this one looks great. So yeah, very cool card to add to the collection as a 10. And we're getting towards the end of the submission now. I think we have 2 more cards to look at. This is the final, like, OG era card, I guess. It's an enemy controller from Ancient Sanctuary. One of the hardest cards to grade from this particular set. This was a raw copy I picked up off eBay maybe 3-4 months back because I thought it had amazing centering for an enemy controller and it looked packed fresh. Really nice clean card overall. Maybe like a tiny bit of waxing on the back or whatever, but you pretty much always have that with Ancient Sanctuary. So yeah, I was hoping for a 10 on this again, similar to the Luster Dragon. Considering these cost $100 per card to grade, if they got 9s, it would have been kind of unfortunate because I'm not even sure how much a 9 of this card would be worth. Maybe like 150 bucks at most. But we got a gem mint 10, so no need to worry about that. Very cool card as a 10. I think it's worth like maybe 1k in that range because of how low pop it is. And yeah, I just love enemy controller in general, to be honest. I played a lot of decks back in the day where I chucked this in there, so it's a very nostalgic card for me. And the final card that I subbed is another Cyber Dragon actually, but this is unlimited. So unlimited European print. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but for the unlimited print of Cybernetic Revolution, the European print that is, the ultimate rares actually look even more insane than the first ed. So if I bring back the Cyber Dragon first edition that we graded. Yeah, all right. So here's that first edition Ultimate Rare Cyber Dragon we graded as a PSA 10. This is European print first ed. This is European print unlimited. And they both look awesome for sure, but you guys can probably see that the unlimited has like a lot more obvious foil pop. Like if we just put them like that, you can't really see the pattern on the first edition, whereas on the unlimited, it just still clearly pops an insane amount. So yeah, that was why I subbed it. Value-wise, it's kind of hard to value an unlimited Cyber Dragon. It's not something you see very often, especially graded. But I thought it'd be cool to have it slapped up, especially next to the first edition one that I was grading in the same sub. And we got a mint 9. So to be honest, that was pretty much what I was expecting. These always have like a little bit of chipping on the back. And they have a really deep Ultimate Rare stamp as well. Like you can probably see all the details of the artwork going on. I've never seen a copy from the Unlimited run that didn't have that. So I assume no matter how clean the card is, that probably would stop it getting a 10 from PSA. And now just to finish, so this is my final card in the submission, but if you look up the pop report for Unlimited Cyber Dragon Ultimate Rare, you'll see it's a pop 5. And all 5 of those are actually from this submission. So the others are belonging to a friend of mine. They don't actually belong to me. This is the only one that belongs to me. But I thought this would be a pretty cool way to finish the sub, showing all 5 copies of a Population 5 card. That's not something you see every day, folks. But yeah, with that being said, that is the end of this PSA return. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. I definitely thought it was an epic return. Like, there are always still a couple of cards that don't go quite how you expect them to. But on the whole, we sent 16 cards and we got, I think, 10 gem mint grades. So that's pretty insane, to be honest. You really cannot ask for more than that, especially considering that it was, like, on the whole, the higher end cards that got the 10s and the less important ones that got the 9s and 8s and 7s. So yeah, really awesome return. I'll be sending out another one soon, so there should be another PSA return within maybe 3-4 weeks of me posting this video at most. And with that being said, this is Schlost signing out, and I hope you guys all have a great day.